Hi friends, it's Megan. We're doing devotions again. Hooray! It was nice to have some time and space off during the Christmas and New Year holiday. Thanks for being patient with me and allowing me to do that. I appreciate that. And today, it's an exciting day. Do you know what day today is? Today is Epiphany. Today is the season. Today begins the season when we begin to celebrate the light of Christ. Now, we celebrate that all year long, every day, especially on Sundays, and we have the opportunity to do that every single day. But Epiphany is the season of light. When I was in college during the season of Epiphany, I had the opportunity for a couple years to light a candle every day during the season of Epiphany. You can do that if you'd like. It's always a good reminder of the light that we have received through the grace and love of God. But however you remember light, I would encourage you to do so in these Sundays of Epiphany, remembering light, seeing light, especially in the days when darkness seems more prevalent because the sun doesn't come up as early and it sets quicker and sooner than I think many of us would like. I don't mind darkness as much, but it's hard when it seems all-encompassing. So, and you all know I like to have my windows open. So, and I like to have the shades open because I like to have open spaces. So, with that, I would encourage you, I would encourage you to find, especially during this season, find a source of light. I want to share with you a short scripture passage. We've heard this one recently within our readings. This is from Isaiah chapter 60, and this is 1 through 3. This is from the Good News translation. You'll hear different translations, and many of them are similar. This has a few different words. Go check out Isaiah 60. You'll see the images in it quickly. So I'm going to share with you Isaiah 60, 1 through 3. Arise, Jerusalem, and shine like the sun. The glory of the Lord is shining on you. Other nations will be covered by darkness, but on you the light of the Lord will shine. The brightness of his presence will be with you. Nations will be drawn to your light, and kings to the dawning of your new day. Did you hear all the images of light in there? Did you hear the encouragement? Did you hear and see light in those words? I want to ask you, well, first of all, no, I have 3 things that I want to do today, but I want to share some thoughts with you. Here's one that I really enjoyed. This is from one of the resources we get at church. This says, like the light of the star that guided the Magi to Jesus, the light of Christ reveals who we are. Children of God who are claimed and washed in the waters of baptism. We are given a light. When we are claimed by God, we are given God's light. And I have 2 things for you today. 2 questions. Where do you get your light? And then, on the opposite side of that, who do you provide light for? It does go both ways, not all the time, but I think it has to go both ways. Now, it may take a while for it to go both ways, and that's perfectly fine. But the first question, where do you get your light? From what source? Maybe from a person, maybe from a story, maybe from the sunrise or the sunset. We have had some spectacular sunrises and sunsets lately. I know over the Christmas holiday, there were some stunning ones. I had a sunrise one morning where the sky literally was hot pink and blue. I stopped It was stunning. Where do you get your light? Do you get it from reading scripture? Do you get it from communicating with your family, sharing the time? I know we're not always supposed to be together, and I'm thankful for those families who have the opportunity to do that. Where or who do you get your light from? And then, like many things, it goes the opposite way. When you receive that light from whatever source you get it, do you feel compelled to share that? Do you feel the need to give it to somebody else because of the goodness that it brings to you, the goodness that it puts inside your heart or your soul, however you want to say that? I know that when I have an opportunity to share an uplifting conversation, or I read an uplifting story. We were fortunate enough to receive quite a number of Christmas cards this year. I loved seeing the family pictures and reading the news of other families, knowing that we did the same thing with ours. We shared pictures, we offered news, and offered what little we had done this year. That gave me a source of light, and I wanted to share that with others. I wanted to give other people the feeling of light, the feeling of joy. Where do you get your light? And then, who do you share it with? Do you share it because you feel compelled to? Do you share it with someone because you see that they are struggling, that they have more darkness than light, so you want to offer some light? How does that work for you? I know the Magi followed the star, and we had a wonderful discussion this past Sunday about the gifts that the Magi offered. What did Mary and Joseph do with them? But I want to back up a minute. If the Magi had not seen that star or seen the light, would they have been able to follow and find the Christ child? Whenever they did that, however they did that, would they have been able to do that? Would they have gone? The Magi had to find the star, the light, in order to follow it. We too have to find the light or wait for someone to give it. Now, we can certainly make our own light. Absolutely. But that's a little harder sometimes. So where do you get your light? Is there someone who brings it to you? Is there someone who offers it to you? And then, who do you share it with? Because really and truly, when you're given so much of that light, there's only so much you can hold in. You have to share it, because I think that's why God made it, so that it can be shared. Light and joy can be offered and can be given away, because truthfully, really, when you give it away, it doesn't get smaller. It grows. It doesn't diminish. You still have the same amount, but then you're given more light by sharing it with other people. Think about the candle. I've used this illustration before, and I can't remember recently where I used it, but I used it recently. When you light a candle at Christmas Eve, I know many of us had an opportunity, not this year, many of us had an opportunity to experience candlelight Christmas Eve service. You take your light, hold your candle, and you turn it into the other person's light. You don't wait for somebody else to turn it into you. You turn your candle in to receive the light. You take that. But then the person next to you does the same. Your light doesn't diminish, neither does the person that you took it from. They gave it to you. who gives you light? And then, in turn, who do you give light to? I would encourage you to find that out. Look to see who gives you light and where you get your light from. We'll end, we'll end today with our normal, I encourage you to pray for. And I would encourage you to pray for those teachers and students and staff who are going back to school, some of whom have already started back here in the Antelope Valley. Some people have started and some people will start next week. So I would encourage you to pray for those students and teachers who are going back, who are beginning again, who will adventure once more into virtual learning. Maybe you don't have virtual learning. Maybe you have an opportunity to be in person. However that is, I would encourage you to pray for the students and the teachers going back. Dear friends, be well. Remember that you are a beloved child of God who carries the light of God within you. Find someone to share it with. Be well.